This episode of the Traveling Epicurean was made possible by these sponsors.
Hi, I'm Michel with the Traveling Epicurean, and today I'm going to teach you how to make chicken piccata. Chicken piccata sauce is so good. It's a lovely lemony wine sauce with shallots and capers. Show you how easy it is to make, and the best part of it is you can make it in the afternoon, put it in the fridge, and then you're done with dinner. Your friends or guests can come over and you're already done with the cooking. You just put it in the oven at 325 and then you can enjoy being with them. So let's get going, and I'm going to show you how easy this is. So these are the lovely ingredients that you're going to need for the chicken piccata. Chicken, garlic, mushrooms, mashed potatoes, chicken broth, freshly sauteed spinach, fresh lemons, capers, and finely chopped shallots, and a nice bottle of white wine. You know, something that you like to drink. You want to cook with wine that you're going to be drinking. The chicken breast you can have done at your local butcher. That's their profession. They love to cut up and butterfly and pound out that chicken breast for you. So if you don't have the time, go ask them. So this is how I do it. I take one chicken breast and I slice them into 3. And then I'm going to pound them in between 2 sheets of wax paper. So if you want to try this yourself, this is how I pound out my chicken breast. I hold down the top, slice through, so that's 1. Then I'm going to slice it again. I'm going to slice it right in the middle there. And I'm going to slice 2. So I end up with 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to cover them, you know, with another piece of wax paper here. And I'm just going to pound them out. You don't want to pound them too much or the chicken breast itself falls apart. You're just trying to make it even, for even cooking. And it also tenderizes it a little bit, you know? Very simple. But again, you know, your local butcher would be happy to do this. There's some wonderful local butchers. There we go. All done. Well, that took a whole 1 minute to do. They're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. And then we just discard with the wax paper. Okay, so it's important to be organized here. It'll make things go much easier. Let's add some salt, flour, some pepper. We have our chicken. Back here, the flour, we're going to dredge it in. We have our pan that we're going to add the olive oil, and then we do have a baking dish in the back there, and that's for when we finish sauteing the chicken breasts and deglazing them. We have somewhere to put them that's close. Okay, let's start by adding some olive oil onto a pan that I've been preheating for about 5 minutes or so. I'd say it's about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then we're going to add a little bit of butter and our garlic cloves. Got the garlic in there, and we are sizzling. It's going to help us tell when the chicken's ready to go in. And we're just going to get this golden brown. We're flavoring the oil. And then we're going to take out the garlic. These garlics are looking incredible. Look how golden they are. My favorite way to eat these is on a piece of crusty bread with a little bit of butter, and then I smear that all over the bread. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so we're gonna take these out and we're gonna set them aside so they don't get bitter. We wanna put in our little slab of butter there. It's not even a tablespoon. It's just so you can see the sizzle and you know when the chicken is ready to go in the pan. You hear that bubbling and that sizzling? It's ready now. So then we want to go over to our chicken and we're going to dredge it in the flour. We're going to shake it off and then we're going to lay it in our pan. Just like that. And we're going to keep doing that until we have filled up the pan. Make sure you have all the chicken covered in the flour and then shake it off and into the pan. The heat's on like a medium-high heat because you don't want that chicken sitting in the olive oil. You want it sizzling. And it's probably going to be about 2.5 minutes, say, on each side. Okay, the chicken has been simmering about 2.5 minutes on each side. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's a golden brown. And now we're going to deglaze with some white wine. Can you hear the beautiful sizzle? So we're going to pour on about 1/4 cup of white wine. And then we're going to cover briefly with a lid just so it can infuse into the chicken. Just wait like 1 minute and then we're going to pull the lid, let it reduce a little bit, and then we're going to put it into our back dish back there and let it set and do the next round. It's going to be so good. It smells amazing with that white wine right now. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to take this out and put this in the back pan. These pieces have gotten so tender. We're just going to lay them down in the back there. And then we're going to pour this little bit of reduction right over this pan. Like so. Just like that. And let that sit. And all those flavors are going to infuse and just really develop and become absolutely even more delicious than they already are. The smell of the wine and the garlic and the chicken smells really, really good. Okay, so we have the same pan. I did use a spatula to get out any of the last of the drippings because we don't want them to burn too much. I'm adding more olive oil for this next batch. 3 chicken breasts sliced into 3. I'll be able to do this in 2 batches. Just like that. And then we're going to add some more of those garlic cloves and get those flavoring this next batch of olive oil. Oh, it smells so good. This is a great recipe. Actually, chicken piccata was invented in Italy, and the dish was mainly a veal piccata. Here in the United States, chicken piccata is more prevalent than the veal piccata. It's kind of a neat little story. And piccata is a method of cooking, slicing the meat thin, sautéing it. I'm going to turn this heat down a little bit. You see it to start to smoke a little bit. You know it's a little bit too hot, and you're just going to want to turn it down just a little bit. That first batch is browning or turning golden. You take the rest of the breasts and you go through and you flour and coat them all. So you're ready to go on the next round. So we have a tablespoon of butter in there right now. We're going to saute the shallots, the finely diced shallots. I like them fine because they disappear into the sauce. I finely chopped those golden 6 garlic cloves that I sauteed to flavor the olive oil. And then we have our finely sliced mushrooms, I'm adding just maybe a tablespoon of olive oil back into the pan. And then we're gonna add the shallots. And we're gonna add the mushrooms. We get our finely diced shallots in there and all of our mushrooms. It looks like a lot of mushrooms right now, but that's really gonna reduce down. The water renders out of the mushrooms and they're gonna get very delicate and tiny when they start cooking. We're just sauteing these mushrooms over medium heat. Look how quickly this is going because all those mushrooms are paper thin. And then we're gonna add the golden chopped garlics to the end. Those are already cooked. We don't need to recook them. We just need them to heat through and then they'll disappear into the sauce as well. So, and then we're going to deglaze with some more white wine. It's all these layered salt in there. Pinch of pepper. You can always adjust the salt and pepper at the end. I like to do it at the end because as things reduce and render, the flavor becomes more intense. And so you don't want to oversalt that. So you could always add the salt at the end. Add in the garlic. You don't even have to add in the garlic. You can completely keep the garlic out if people aren't partial to garlic, just happen to love the garlic, so it's always gonna go in. Oh, it smells so amazing. Oh, that white wine is just evaporating. I am gonna put the lid on it just for about 30 seconds or so. Let those mushrooms infuse with all that wine goodness. Okay. Now it's starting to reduce. And we're gonna add the chicken and the capers into the pan. Now we're gonna add in the capers. You really don't need a lot of capers. The capers are flowering buds from a caper plant. And I like the larger capers because the larger ones are closer to becoming a flower. They're really close to opening, so that's why they're so big. And I think they're more tender. They're not as compact as the little ones. The capers come in different sizes. I really love them all, and it really doesn't matter which one. But it's fun to sometimes change it up using different sizes. Back in. And then we're gonna add a little bit of chicken stock and a little bit more wine, maybe like a quarter cup of chicken stock, and we'll let it simmer just for about 5 minutes. All back in the pan. Quarter cup of chicken broth and another quarter cup of white wine. So altogether we did a quarter cup at each batch of chicken, so that was a half a cup, another quarter cup for the deglazing of the mushrooms, and then another quarter cup. So we used total about a cup of white wine. And now it's just going to simmer for about 5 minutes. At the very end, we'll give a squeeze of lemon. We really want that liquid to reduce down too much because it's going to be our gravy. In America, we serve this with starches. In Italy, it's a segundo plate, which means it's a second plate. So you've had that starch and pasta before this plate. I happen to like mashed potatoes and spinach with my chicken piccata. So that's how I'm going to plate it up in a minute, and then you'll see how delicious it is. We finished our chicken piccata. Looks absolutely delicious. You're going to want to squeeze some lemon on here right before you serve it. You really don't want to cook the lemon because it gets really bitter as it cooks. Our mashed potatoes and our spinach. And I really like layering things. I think it looks really beautiful. It makes for a great presentation. Potatoes. I'm going to place spinach right on top there. And then we're just going to spoon some of this beautiful chicken piccata right on top. Could do 2 pieces, just like that. And then pour the sauce around. It's okay if it slides off a little bit to the side. Wow, look how amazing that is. I can't wait to take a bite. I cannot wait to take a bite of this chicken piccata. Looks absolutely delicious. The chicken is wicked tender. This is a kind of large portion. It might be a man's portion. But just wanted to show you how to stack that there. Really, really good. You're gonna love this dish. Have another bite. I can't wait for you to make it. And again, with this recipe, you can find it on my website, The Traveling. Thank you for being here with me today. Don't forget to go to thetravelingepicurean.com. All the recipes are there. Thank you. Ciao. Hi guys, Michelle here. Welcome to the Traveling Epicurean. These are my friends Lisa and Christine.
Hello.
You might recognize Lisa actually from Pasta at Vin's. We did that a couple of months ago. One of my favorite shows. You have to check that out if you haven't already. So today we're going to have Christine. She's going to share with us a Mediterranean layer dip that's out of this world. So Christine, why don't you show us what's going to go into this amazing dip?
Sure thing. Well, you start with hummus. We selected the supremely spicy hummus because it gives it a little bit of a kick, but you can pick any flavor that you like.
Okay.
We also have tabbouleh, tzatziki, feta, and chopped cucumbers.
Ooh, that sounds really nice. And then we have sliced cucumber to dip with. Can we do that? And then the pitas, is that what you normally do?
Sure. If you want to be a little bit more healthy, you can use the cucumbers to use as dip, but if you want to splurge a little, pita chips are awesome.
I kind of like the pita chips with it. Okay. And I love that we are buying all these prepared items. So, you know, like for the Super Bowl that's coming up, right? This is a perfect dip, and it's so delicious. I really love this dip. I had this at your house, remember?
Yes.
About a month ago when you had the kids.
With it.
I fell in love with it. I said, what is this? You're gonna really love this dip. It's one of my favorites. And then you just spread it around.
Spread it out.
And I like the glass so we could see the layers too,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Okay, after the hummus, we actually do the tzatziki.
The tzatziki, okay. And I do have tzatziki on my website if you guys want to make some homemade tzatziki, if you're not trying to put this all together really quick. All right, so we have the hummus there, and then you're doing the next layer.
We're just going to layer in the tzatziki sauce.
And this pre-made tzatziki comes also in the Greek yogurt, I noticed, in that other brand that you showed me.
Yeah.
This one is not. I couldn't find that other one. But, you know, if you just look at your market, you can find different ones. Some are made with sour cream. Some are made with Greek yogurt.
Yeah, I usually get the Greek yogurt one.
You could change
What
it
do you
up.
get, Christine?
Yeah, and
I usually get the Greek yogurt one as well. But, you know, if you're having a party, you might as well splurge and get the real deal, right?
Exactly. Although I love the flavor of the Greek yogurt. It does. It smells amazing. Is that the dill?
Yeah, it's the dill. And there's a little bit of cucumber in there as well.
Cucumber, okay.
So it just smells really fresh.
It does smell fresh.
Next, we do the crumbled feta.
Okay. And this is a sheep's milk feta that I actually had to buy a large container for my spanakopita at Dana's that I did last week. And we didn't, of course, use all the feta for the stuffed spinach pastries. So I'm so glad. So I actually froze it.
That looks
It
better,
freezes
actually.
really well.
Yeah, I got this idea because I was kind of copying, you know, the 7-layer dip that has all the Mexican ingredients in it. So I'm like, what would be fresh and delicious? And that's how I actually came up with this idea. Because everybody loves hummus and cucumbers and tabbouleh, and it's just a fun, fresh, salady type of appetizer.
It's really, really good. I'm just in love with those Mediterranean flavors.
Okay.
So you want the chopped cucumber
Next we do the chopped cucumbers.
Okay.
Sorry, my finger's getting a little bit messy here. And I usually put a little bit more than this, but just for interest of time, we'll just make just a nice pretty layer, and it pops against the white color of the tzatziki, so it just is very visually appealing.
It's beautiful.
I'm going to put some particularly around the edges so that at the end you can see how the colors, you know.
Along the side of the bowl here.
And then lastly, we add the tabbouleh. I like to put the tabbouleh on top because the colors are just so vibrant and pretty, and I just think it makes it pop off the table.
Absolutely, and it's also fluffy too.
But if you don't like tabbouleh, you don't have to include it. Maybe just chop up some tomatoes and red onion and put them on top instead. Or perhaps olives. You can customize it and make it your own.
Ooh, I like that idea.
And I always feel bad because this has become my dip, and it's not my dip.
It's not my dip.
It's Christine's dip. And I'm like, I have to give her
Sorry.
That's
credit
okay.
for.
Well, that's why
but
she's
you
here
don't make
today.
it so much anymore, do you?
No, because you make it. There was no way. Remember we both showed up at Antonio's with it, and so I'm like, okay, well I won't make it anymore.
No,
Oh, you
I
asked me
asked
beforehand.
you.
That's
I
right.
asked
That's right.
you.
I was like,
wouldn't
okay,
do
you
that
go
to
ahead. I was
I'm
like, go
this
ahead and
is-
make it. Right.
This is your recipe. I wouldn't do
That's
that
right.
to you.
That's right. You did tell me ahead of time.
But it has become my recipe, and now everyone asks me for the recipe.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked you over, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, actually, I'd like to have Christine over because it is really her recipe.
I know.
So the buffalo chicken dip recipe came from Lisa, and that has just taken off like wildfire. And you can check that one out too.
That's
Probably from
another
the link
favorite.
above here. Yeah, that's a big favorite
Yeah.
of my shows. That recipe's just delicious.
Yeah. Although I like this
Well, this is
because
fresh.
it's easy.
And it's easy.
It takes 5 minutes to make.
Yeah, there's really no sauteing or anything.
Yeah,
with this,
so that's
with
why
this
I like
dip.
this one.
The other thing to keep in
Look
mind
how
is you
gorgeous
can
that
make it the
is.
day before and just stick it in the refrigerator.
Absolutely. Isn't that nice? You can make it ahead. You buy prepared products.
Yep.
Who's better than you?
Absolutely.
I mean, this would be amazing. Thank you. Yay.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to get some pita chips and we're going to dig into this and taste
Sounds
it.
good to me.
Oh my goodness. Look at this amazing Mediterranean layered dip. I cannot wait to dig into this. And look at the layering on the side there. Christine, this is so pretty. I love it. Thank you so much for coming over. This really has been so much fun.
Absolutely.
Got lots of recipes.
I don't mind
We're
sharing.
at your house next.
You got it.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so let's dig into this. Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow.
That feta is amazing.
Isn't that that
It's
incredible?
so creamy.
It's really creamy.
That was even better with that feta. I need to get the name of that feta. There.
But if you go to a cheese shop, they're going to have decent feta as well.
Yeah.
Because what happens when it gets packaged, it gets a little bit dried out. You know, because
it does.
it's been in there for a little bit. Well, so this dip is amazing. Thank you so much for coming over and showing us how to put it together. I love it that it's already prepared. It makes it really easy to do and quick too. You can do it the day before.
You could even keep this in your refrigerator
Yes.
if you have somewhere to go last minute and
Ooh, I like
quickly
that.
grab those packages out because they last for weeks if they're not
Absolutely.
opened.
That's
So
a really
that's
really
what I
nice
do. I
thing
have
to do.
on hand at all times to make this dip.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we're gonna have to get together soon. Maybe we'll cook at your house next.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. You can find this recipe at thetravelingepicurean.com. Have a really great weekend. See you next week. Ciao.
Ciao.
Hi guys, Michelle here. Welcome to the Traveling Epicurean. Today's menu is all about roasted chickpeas. I've been on a chickpea craze. We did that really silky hummus a couple weeks. That was really delicious. Today we're gonna roast the chickpeas. It's amazing how it goes from a creamy bean to a crunchy, tasty, really healthy snack. Get on over here. I'll show you what we're gonna need to get this going. So this is what we're gonna need to make our roasted chickpeas. We have 2 cans of chickpeas. I have some sea salt. I have some garlic and onion granules, ground cumin, finely ground black pepper, olive oil. We're gonna wash and dry them and toss them in this bowl with those seasonings over there. And then we're gonna put them on this cookie tray and we're gonna bake them. So I have my oven preheating at 450. I drained the chickpeas, I rinsed them in a colander, and then I put them on these paper towels, and I'm just gonna rub the paper towels back and forth, and that helps to release the skins. It's not really technical, but you need to take all the skins off. But I want you to see here how when I rub the chickpeas with the paper towels, they just pop right off anyway. See that? Look at how they just release. Very simply. It's not difficult. And then I can even take the paper towel and then rub them. I mean, you don't want to squish down on them because you don't want to break the chickpea. But I'll do it again. And then more release. And then you could also take a pile and you could rub them between your hands. And then see how they come up like that? Very simple. Oops. There we go. You could also squeeze them off. And then I'm going to put them right in the bowl. Alright, so we got our chickpeas in the bowl, and I'm going to start to add these seasonings here. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of the garlic granules. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of the onion granules. I got this recipe from a golfing friend, Lisa, and she used cayenne. I'm going to use black pepper. It's a 1/4 teaspoon instead of the cayenne. You could really change this up to whatever spices that you want. You could do smoked paprika. You could use chipotle pepper. It's really about being creative with your flavors, so don't be afraid. I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of the cumin, which gives it that nice citrusy floral flavor. Olive oil, and that's just going to kind of stick all those wonderful seasonings to the chickpeas. I'm going to toss these up, and then we're just going to put them on our pan here, our cookie tray, and then pop them in the oven. All right, so that's pretty well mixed here. I'm going to get a dry cookie pan right here, and then I'm just going to toss these onto the pan, and I'm going to shake the pan a little bit. When you start to roast these in the oven, it only takes about 35 minutes. You really have to pay attention the last 5 minutes. See how I'm shaking the pan here? Because the last 5 minutes, they go really quickly. But every 10 minutes, you need to open the oven door and then shake the pan a little bit. So you just shake around the chickpeas, and that helps them to cook evenly, just like that. All right. So I'm gonna get these into the oven. Okay, this is the 15-minute mark, and I'm gonna give them a shake. They're getting nice and golden. The olive oil is really helping to crisp them up. And we're putting them back in the oven, just like that. Well, these look really beautiful. They came out absolutely gorgeous. And I am gonna give a sprinkle of some salt because I did try them, and I usually do that because some of the salt comes off on the pan. And I'll let them cool a little bit. Delicious. And as they cool, they'll get even crunchier. All right, those are delicious. Who would have thought you could roast a chickpea and it would taste like this? I can't wait for you to go to make these. They're so much fun and really simple. Your kids are gonna like them also. You can make it spicy, you can make it smoky, be creative with those spices. You can find that recipe at thetravelingepicurean.com. Have a really great weekend. See you next week. Ciao.
Thank you for watching The Traveling Epicurean. A special thanks to